issue.
Okay.
SSH is not pinging in client machine.
Okay. So while bootstrapping,
Initially, SSH was pinging,
Hmm.
but knife bootstrap is not working. But again, after I have changed the instance and I regenerated the SSH key and updated the key. But
Okay.
after that, SSH itself not pinging. It is saying permission denied.
So have you shut down the machine by any chance? Like IP address is that changed or anything like that? No, right?
No. I even half an hour back, I have created a new instance again, and I tried to ping that IP.
Okay.
So that is also throwing a permission denied issue.
So it could be key issue then. Yeah. Or like maybe that bootstrap syntax, here and there. Are you there in the folder where the ChapDK was extracted? This kit.
Yes.
You are there, right? So let's just check it out and we'll just see what is the issue then. It will probably help others also.
Yeah. Then do I need to share my screen?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, and then I need a permission.
Okay, let me give you. Yeah, can you try to do a screen share?
No, still disabled.
Yeah. Now?
Yeah, I can show.
Okay.
Okay. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is your workstation, right?
No, this is not workstation. This is a node.
Okay.
Okay. This is my workstation. I should be in the root SSH folder.
Yes. No, not that. So can you go to Chef5 that repo folder?
Okay. Yeah.
So nice space SSL check.
Sorry.
Nice space SSL space check.
Can you tell the command again?
Knife 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 space SSL space check CHEC. Yeah. Ready for the background nice.
Yeah. It is successfully verified.
Okay, so now can you do SSH to the client and see whether it's working?
So I have copied client IP. I have copied and SSH. Yeah, this is the issue I'm facing. Permission denied.
Permission denied public key. Okay, okay, got it. So can we do one thing? Can we just quickly copy the key once again by clearing the old key and the line outside?
Okay, workstation, right?
Yeah. Go to root.
Under authorized key.
Yeah.
No, in workstation or
No, so this is your workstation, right?
Yeah, this is workstation.
Okay, and so you have to take the public key id underscore rsa.pub from here.
Cat.
VA, yeah, cat. You can do anything. That pub.
I copied.
Yeah, go to the client node. So switch to the root because we're doing at the root level now. Yeah, you already doing.
Okay.
Authorized.
Okay.
Remove
DD, right?
yeah. Remove the second row. 1 second. Can you undo this? Escape you.
Undo.
Escape you. No. Yeah, okay, you're quitting, right? Yeah.
Okay.
First line, let it be. Just use the arrow key. Come to the second row.
Yeah.
Let's try to remove this one. DD.
Delete. Okay.
Oh, yeah, append that now. Pasting. Okay, save this thing and go to SSHD config.
SSHD.
Yeah. VA /etc/SSH. And SSHD underscore config.
A permit root login.
Yeah, permit root. Yeah. Okay.
Remove
So
the
you read
column.
that. Okay. I think this is good. I mean, you already uncommented.
Is it yes or no?
Yes.
Should yes. Yes.
Permit root login is yes.
Okay.
Can just will double check that that the SSH restarted here. Just see if you can restart once again. Now try to do SSH.
Yes, now it's happened. Maybe it's a key issue.
Could be key issue. Yeah. Exit and do a bootstrap.
Okay.
You can just private IP. Yeah. One.
You can I can provide this IP address.
Yeah. Generally, we use private IP only. Yeah.
Workstation.
To exit, we are in node. No. You have to come out of this. No? Do exit. You are in node, right? Yeah. Just to exit. EXIT. Yeah. Now go to repo folder. CD/home. See, easy to. I think you have to use /home /EC2-user.
Here I need to execute that knife command.
Right.
Yeah, actually, this is the error I was getting earlier. So that's why I was created a new instance. And
cannot be established. Failed to authenticate the HTTP. So while pasting the command, okay, using SSH, is it there in the command? The knife bootstrap.
Yes, knife bootstrap.
And at the end of the command, that using SSH something copied. No? Is it just an output, or like is it our command?
This is the command I have executed. Knife bootstrap connection user.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I try again?
Yeah, can we try? Signal signature for user client Yogesh. Okay, so that is your validation, right? So your server organization level validation, right?
Correct.
Okay, so not the issue with the bootstrap, but I think it looks like the PIM file which you downloaded from the server, I think having issue. Can we do one thing? Can we get the new PIM file from the server? Go to the Chef server, the API. You can type manage.chef type also. Yeah.
Okay. New chef template.
No, organization is there. No? Go to administration. Administration. Select the organization. Yeah. Download the starter kit. Select the option. Yeah. Last option. Yeah. Download. So we have a WinSCP open, right?
Yes.
Just to upload once again. Of the IP address is not changed, right? You have to click on edit also.
Right.
I think you have chosen SFTP, right? See if you can change that in the WinSCP. So let's just wait for one more try.
I have changed it, right?
Edit. The above SFTP, then the first one, the drop down. The file protocol. The session, yeah. I'm not here.
I think I have to check authentication files. Okay, this is correct. Where
Above the host name, the IP address you given, no?
right?
The above one SFTP. See if you can try only SCP.
SAP.
Yeah. Still the same. Maybe I think either IP address or key. Two only, no? You given right.
Yes.
Or like from the console only take the public IP. Sometimes it will be confused.
Maybe I have selected wrong IP.
This is chef node, no, Yogesh?
This is starter kit.
Yeah, this is starter kit. You are connecting to node now, right? Chef node.
Yes.
Are you connecting to chef node or workstation? It
Chef
has to be-
node.
no,
Yes.
it has to be workstation, no?
Oh, this should be for workstation.
Yeah. So it's already there. You can remove that and then upload. You may also need to remove the HFRFO extracted folder.
Okay.
The workstation. Run -rf chef icon repo.
Chef refer.
Chef icon repo. Yeah. Unzip the zip file.
Yeah.
Go to the folder. Chef DK is installed, right?
Chef DK installed.
So now let's try this bootstrap.
Yeah, I think now it is working.
Yeah, so I think it's a PEM key issue. So the starter kit which you download, that could be issue.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So anyone else? Any issues?
Raghu, Rakesh here.
Oh.
Yeah, I was facing the same permission, some issue last time. No, that is resolved. I'm able to see my node here on the AWS console. Sorry, the Chef console. I just have one question. Like the IP address we registered here on Chef console is like, will it modify if we stop the instances and start them back?
Okay, yeah, I was on mute. Yeah, sorry. So, so yeah, in case like if you stop it's a dynamic IP, so you'll get a new IP.
Right. So on Chef console, it may not be able to connect with that, right? Because the IP address is modified.
But if you use private IP, then generally it should not care an issue because private IP will not change.
Okay. So.
But if you bootstrap with public IP, then yeah, you may have this IP address issue. So you have to remove that from the console, Chef API console. Try to in case if the communication is broken, only then try to bootstrap.
Okay.
But in real time, anyway, we'll be having static IPs, no?
Yes, yes.
We'll not be having any issues.
Yeah, for that
It's
reason I
only
did
here
not.
because
Yeah, so I just suspected this. I did not turn, stop the instances because it may lose the connection.
Oh, it's okay. I should have. Okay, no problem. So you're running both machines for 48 hours.
No, I tried today morning actually,
I see. Okay,
early morning.
okay, no, that's fine. So
Okay,
if you use like private IP, then that should not be an issue.
sure. I'll try with private IP and then I can stop.
Cool.
Thank you.
So anyone else tried? Any issues? Okay. So as usual, let's just quickly start with some random QA, just to recap, and then try to because we lost not lost, but yeah, we had some break, right? 2 days break. So that's the reason. So let me start with asking these questions. Anyone can answer. Oh, so chef, is it works on pull mechanism or push mechanism?
Pull mechanism.
So can you explain me that? What is pull?
Okay. So as I understood, like Ansible is an example of push because on this the continuous integration setup. So what happens is if you push something from our end to the, let's say, GitHub repo or something, it triggers the process and it gets deployed into respective environments. But in Chef's side, we have to, after we push, it won't get triggered. Actually, we have to go to the Chef's side and we have to pull it from there, which triggers the deployment process or something.
Oh, okay.
Which takes an extra authentication to trigger that action.
Yeah. So this agent, so do we need to manually run because you said it's a pull mechanism? So, or is it, do we automate that? And if yes, like how?
I'm not sure about this.
Okay. So the answer is that there are multiple ways. You have to schedule to run the agent at a regular interval. So probably you can go with cron job, but it's a Linux machine, or if it is a Windows machine, you can go with the what do you call scheduled task? Yeah. Or no, again, in the scheduled task, we'll be scheduling at a regular interval to run. So, for example, generally production environment, if it is very critical, they'll start with 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes, the agent will run, so that the scheduled task will be there. Or if it is non-prod, 3 hours, 6 hours, it's okay, right? There is no business impact. So this agent configuration will be decided what interval it has to run by the business, and we just need to follow the business rules. Okay, now let's get into that more. What do you mean by bootstrapping?
Bootstrapping is registering our node with the workstation.
Only that?
No, I'm linking that to Chef organization. So we have to register and link it there.
Yeah, basically installing agent also.
Okay.
Yeah, installing agent and then registering that node with the respective organization.
Target machines.
Yeah. Now, can I bootstrap a single node with multiple chef servers?
Raghu, I have a question here. Like, is bootstrapping same as user data in EC2? Like while deploying, spinning up EC2 machine, there will be an option like user data.
Yeah.
Is it same? Bootstrapping same as user data, where we can run our dependencies in the user data while spinning up EC2. Is it same or different?
No, it is different. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like one-time activity, and basically a small program will be running at the client side. As we discussed, it will take like close to 512 MB hard disk space. That's it. So it's a program which will negotiate with the Chef server at a regular interval. The installation will be as bootstrapping, which actually will negotiate with the server at a regular interval. That's it. Actually, it's roles and responsibility. And client Chef agent, we call it as. So which will download the cookbooks to the respective nodes.
Okay, got it.
That is at a global level, not at user level, organization level as well.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, coming back to my question, can I bootstrap a single node to multiple Chef servers?
I think yes, Raghu.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, no, anyway, it's a starter kit, right? Let's take a use case where you have multiple organizations, and then you download the starter kit and you extract it to different locations. No? So when you bootstrap from that folder, you will be registering that node with the multiple organization. Both will be like and working in isolated, but generally in real time we don't do that. We don't require to do that actually, but this is just a question to understand your level of knowledge.
Yeah. With same organization, it won't be possible. Let's say.
Yeah, with same organization, yeah, it will already, you'll get a message. It's already there.
Oh, it's there.
Whether you want to overwrite or not, something like that you'll get.
Yeah. And Raghu, this agent is nothing but the chef client, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
So what is a cookbook?
It holds the set of instructions that we need to run at regular intervals.
And the short answer is collection of recipes.
Oh, yeah, right.
But again, what is recipe?
It's a single instruction, we can say.
Yeah, collection of resources.
Collection. Okay.
Now, what is resource? We have not discussed that yet. Okay, that is like we'll discuss it today. Yeah. What is resource basically? Okay. Now, in which language it was developed?
Ruby.
Okay. In which year it came into the market? The first edition.
2006.
2000.
2006 Puppet came. 2009 January is when Chef came into market. So who owns Chef? I mean the vendor name.
Red Hat.
No. Ops Code community. Puppet is from Puppet Labs. How the communication happens? I mean, which protocol? I just need the protocol and happens between server and the node.
TCP.
TCP, anyway, that is fine. I mean, on top of that. SSL protocol, right? I mean, it's a certificate will be provided. No? It's not a protocol, but anyway, but
Authentication.
Authentication. Yeah. Okay, so I think so let's get into today's exercise. We just pull the slide. Sure. So what we will do today, we'll just quickly just go through this language, what we are going to write, and then we will try to write one extremely simple recipe and cookbook. And that's the agenda for today. If possible, we will try to bootstrap a Windows machine as well by spinning up the Windows machine. So few words from the author, the person who developed Ruby. Mats, we call him as, is from Japan. Initially, it was developed in Japanese language, but later it was into the English. That is when it became popular. But otherwise, it was a replacement of Perl, and so that is because what Matt says that right, any program should be close to humans. In our graduations and then in all days, what we learn. Assembly language, which is more close to machines, works more efficient than any other language. I mean, even in my graduation, they were told the same thing. Yeah, but he says that no, it should be more close to humans. Otherwise, the language will not become popular. Yeah, a few words from him. Very preferred, the popular preferred language comparatively with any other language other than Java. So we are not going to discuss Chef language, but I'm just trying to introduce you to the programming language, basically the Chef, then Ruby, then we'll get into the Chef language. A few slides I'll be focusing on just to refresh our this thing, our skills on the scripting or programming. So unlike any other programming language, here also we have comments. Comments can be used denoted with the hash symbol. So in case if you want to check any syntax in the Ruby I'm talking about, not Chef again, you will use Ruby-C and so on. So the programming syntax is fine. It says syntax is okay. And then can we use variables in Chef? Yes, answer is you don't need to even define whether it's an integer or a character or object. You can straight away define and start using it. Anyway, these variables, one is global variable, one is inside a loop in case if you set up, right? It is only accessible within the loop. If you have the loop variable inside the loop. But if you define it at the global level, it is accessible through the entire programming. Mathematical operations are allowed in Ruby. So no need to import any special package or etc. or module. You can start defining and start using it. And one more thing is that so any variable and all this stuff. So you can use this comparing tools. It's also available in Perl and etc. And there are two types of strings: double quotes and single quotes. Difference is, for example, if we take this example that X is a variable, double quotes is string. But when you recall that, or when you want to use that variable, you use this hash a flower bracket X, the double within the quotes, then the value will be carried. But if you use in single quotes, it will treat it as a string. So the value will not be inherited. You can also use this what do you call escaping character in case if you want to use a apostrophe single quotes in the naming definition. So in Chef, this is very popular. We call it like here doc notation. So what you mean by is that, for example, can I use shell script in a Chef line? That's a question. So answer is yes. You can use shell script. You can inject a shell script inside the recipe or cookbook. You can inject Perl, you can inject Python, you can inject any code. Likewise. So people sometimes ask, can I use shell scripting inside Chef? Yes, answer is. So it all depends, using this here dog notation. I will discuss that when time comes, when the time comes. So you also have Boolean definitions here. So true, not true, false, etc. Arrays is also available. There are different methods to add content to the array, find out this length, size, etc. So you can use this, joint operators or redirection operators, just less to insert data to the array, etc., or extract. In Perl also, we have seen these hashes or dictionaries. That is same stuff available in Ruby also. So, for example, you want to have a hashes with a key value pair. So, key value is something like, you might have heard about in NoSQL databases. So, generally, NoSQL databases like MongoDB and all these things works on the key value pair. Same thing is here. So, there are only two things: text or name numeric or some key value pair. So, you can use this stuff in hashes. We call it also dictionaries in Perl. So we also have this sugar coating stuff and also mashes. So just in case you want to have your own naming convention or you want to have your own Ruby sugar coating kind of stuff, your own definition basically. So the way you want to access all these changes here. So mostly in Chef, this mashes also will be used. What do you mean by that is same like your hashes only. The only difference, the major difference here is that data types, what we use here in the mashes, that is least bothered about this. So you can use any data types in mashes. So for example, if you take this example, there are two players. The two players having two different statistics. When you define this everything in hashes, I just need only one player's data. I can simply call that players and then square bracket. If you do that, you'll get all the source of player data. Or if I just need one statistics of a player, you can use this style: players, the name within square bracket within single quotes, and then the property. Like for example, an average I want. So in Chef, mostly people generally uses this stuff. Also, regular expressions are allowed, like your Perl, Python, anything. Everything is available here. What do you mean by that? For example, I want to compare a text, whether it is available or not. So that stuff. Yeah. So if some condition, this is also very common in every language. Loops I'm talking about. If loop, do loop, while loop, unless, nested if. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but just this all just to refresh you what I mean by roots programming language. Case loop, very popular in Chef, very common. So for example, if it is Windows, do this thing. If it is Linux, do this thing. If it is some XYZ operating system, yeah, ignore this. Likewise. And in Chef also we have methods, classes, and modules. We might have learned these things or heard about this thing, but what is method and what is class and module is, for example, a class. They generally created using keyword called class, wherein we will be defining some set of instructions. That's it. So you can create another class using this class, or you can reuse this stuff. Now, if I want to define a method, then I'll use def keyword. The advantage with the methods is that it can accept arguments. In this case, for example, this define cook is a method. It accepts an argument called temperature. Now, module And they created using this keyword called module, but they will not accept any arguments. So this is the major differences between a class, a method, and a module. Module will not accept arguments. Method will accept arguments. Classes are created using class keyword, which can contain some methods as well. This is just like defining some sort of component and etc. here. How do you call a method when it is defined? We just now learned that it accepts some arguments. You can use this parenthesis and supply the arguments. Or like in case if you're familiar with Java, so you might have seen this thing. So a method and a chain provided option wherein the return value of this will be the input to the next module. Likewise, also you method. Likewise, you can also use this chainable format. Fine. This is all about little very high level brush up stuff from the programming language, particularly Ruby. Now, this is where our job starts now to understand this. So Chef syntax and examples, everything works in the Chef's DSL. So we call it as domain specific language. So basically what is a DSL? It's a syntax written to handle a specific problem or a domain. In this case, it is infrastructure. So it is basically it carries all the power of Ruby programming language. We can say that it is a subset of Ruby, which we can access from Chef recipes. And also, it all actually developer no need to perform some mathematical operations. They're all communities with other services which we can easily access from the recipes. So this is very high level about the DSL. We call it as domain specific language or Chef DSL. And if somebody asks you, do you know Chef means? Yes, I know Chef DSL. So that means the language I'm talking about. So whatever we have so far learned is all about setting up the framework, which is a one-time activity, and how the Chef works, what is pull mechanism, what are the components, etc. But this is where our job starts. So how do you write a program? Or the smallest unit in Chef is recipe, a single file, .rb file. How do you write that? The way we develop this thing is using resources. So what do you mean by resources? We are hearing for a lot of times, right? File is a keyword in Chef which is actually denotes a resource. Now with file, what we can do? We can create a file. We can delete a file. We can edit a file. We can zip the file. We can remove the file. We can do many things with the file resource. So these are all attributes of the resource called file. In this case, if you look at the example, in the recipe, there is a resource and it is having all these particular attributes. The first part is name of the resource, such as template, such as file, such as package or service. Now the next part is the name of the attribute for that part resource. You need to remember one thing, Chef having a lot of resources, hundreds of resources, and then each resource is having its own attributes. So that's all we need to know. We need to know how many resources are there and each attributes are so and so resource, so that whether it suits our requirement or not, and then fine tune that stuff. So let's start with one resource called template. So what it is doing is, I'll try to explain you. On your client side, this is a file name it is going to create using a source file which is already there in the cookbook ERB name. After copying or deploying, try to change the ownership of the file, and so that the mode is also now allows to access by some XYZ person. So how many resources we have? A lot of resources, but majorly template, package, service, just to name few that are very popular resources, which is developed in Chef Recipe DSL. So we'll see some real-time recipes example. So in case if you see a package and debate do action upgrade pen. Now what is package? It is not a Unix or a Linux keyword. It is just whatever, you know, the native language package. My name called NTP, do and end action upgrade. That means the program is there already there in the machine, just need an upgradation. Similarly, I want to reset an Apache. If it is a binary which is developed by some XYZ company, I can simply say that, you know, so and so, whatever, restart. But in case it is a custom restart, I mean, I have to have a path and all the stuff. Then in that case, yeah, you can use this restart underscore command with the resource called so and so Apache to whatever. So it clearly indicates that the resources or service and all these are all resources in Chef Recipe DSL. Apache 2 here in the above command is the service will be accessible and managing by the Chef itself. Now take an example that I want to display this thing. So I'll use this file resource so that in the content of the file can be saved here. At this location, do end and say that content so and so is delicious. Similarly, X is delicious. So sauce is delicious. So these are all there. I mean, that is actually the background about this stuff. Now, when we want to trim this particular code, I will use this array. Bacon X sauce dot each do type 5 so and so to end. So what it means is that, you know, every time the bacon and the type, X and type, sauce and type. So for each of that, for bacon or do all this stuff. So this is what, you know, we have to write in case if we want to have a multi-phase execution model. Take a scenario, there are around 1,000 servers, and I was given a task to find out the memory utilization of each and every server. Manually reading all that stuff, it is a tedious process. So in case if I have this automation, I just simply inject this into the hospital. Inject this into the so and so memory, and then I'll use this content bytes free and so and so time. Why I'm using this times? This just to display that at what time it was taken, the backup taken. Content bytes free and so on. So this is how it will actually display on the screen. So far we have seen only what? File, template, service, package resources, 4. These 4 resources are actually into the core chef system. Of course, there are some non-list comprehensive list chef resources also there. So, for example, can I use bash? Yeah, you can use, but what I meant to say that this particular thing is non-comprehensive chef resources, which actually executes but will not actually follow and inherit that idempotency in the market. What do you mean by idempotency? In case if the node is already applied with the cookbook, don't do it to anything. And you also need chef gem, then you can please go ahead and install the chef gem, which is inside the chef. The recipe requires a gem into the perform a action, etc. So you also have one more resource called Cookbook 5, which actually do what? It will transfer the files from data inside a cookbook onto a target node. And then you also have cron if you want to set up a cron job. Someone asking, right? Can I set up the, how do you automate this process? So set up a cron job at the client side. And then you also have a deploy resources. What it will do in case if you want to deploy and upgrade an existing repository using this thing, you can do the deploy and for revision resources to deploy this stuff. You can also use directory command, which you can create some commands iteratively, etc. Execute is a popular arbitrary command, which anyway we'll be using all these examples in the resources which I'm going to discuss. But by default, again, this is not to implemented by nature and therefore requires some what you call guards only if and not if, because in a right, irrespective of the current status, it will go and execute. That's what I'm trying to say. So file resource will manage, will present on the node, and then that is how it will be used. So yeah, you also have a lot of resources. We need to start with some very common resources which we used. That's the reason I'm actually linked to all these popular resources: mount, link, group, etc. And then package we have seen, which will install a package. Source is transfer a file from the remote location. Service is to start the service. Template, deploy it. Template file, ERB file. User to create the file. So let's start with our first recipe. Let me get into our this what do you call AWS framework. So while we're logging into this, so any questions from the programming language? Extremely simple language, Ruby. Anyway, we'll be writing some recipes in Cookbooks to get practice on that. So what I've done, I spinned up a workstation. I spinned up a node. The same one which we the other day we did a bootstrap, right? So I then what I did, I just actually just verified, everything is in place or not. Manage dot.
Use incognito. Yeah.
We got it. Looks like you're trying to browse your Japan browser server. Why this is nowadays coming very frequently? So should give some skip page. Yeah. So what was the organizations we created the other day in my system? I think it is. Yeah, this one. 3 days ago, we did a client, chef client. So let me try this one. Because IP address is all changed, right? If it's not working, then we'll see. Because anyway, I think I bootstrapped with private IP. But still, let me see. I don't really recollect it. It's a client triggered without any issues. I refresh this one. Few seconds ago, yes. So because in IP address I used a private IP, it was having the same IP address, even though we got a new public IP. That's the reason it is without any issues. It is actually tested. So now my first exercises of this is that I don't want to create any cookbook. It's okay. Cookbook is my next learning. First, let me understand a recipe, a single file. And why do we need workstation generally? To develop a recipe or a cookbook, test it locally, and then only if you're satisfied, you'll go to the non-prod and then finally go to the production. That's the flow. Generally, we do that. Now, what I'm going to do, I would like to write first a single recipe. My requirement is inside a folder, please create a file, and then add some text to that particular file. This is my requirement. So where should I write a recipe? Chef repo. But recipe is only to test it at like whether the code is working or not. So it's an RB extension, and then again you have to run it locally. Only one recipe will try to write it. Name first recipe dot RB. So now this recipe, so how do you write that? So probably think I have some notes for that. Very basic, extremely basic scripts to practice. Then, yeah, this one. So here, this code file is you just now learned, not resource. And I'm saying that under this temp folder, there is a file has to be there called by name MOTD. Just naming, just for the sake of naming, I've given this thing. But otherwise, MOTD means message on terminal display, something like this. And this file has to be there. Do and end. Content of the file is hello world. single quotes. It's okay. So I'm writing actually recipe first of all. Just check whether this is fine or not. But otherwise, I'm not even actually going into the cookbook folder and doing anything, which is actually we are supposed to write it finally. So this recipe, whether it is working or not locally, what I can do, I can use this chef -client -local mode or -z 0 mode. I think is fine. Run this. So see whether this code is fine or not. Looks like it is working as expected. Let's just understand this execution. As I said, please locally run the recipe. What it means is that, hey, don't talk to the server. That is actually all it means to say. And here, yeah, with repository, so and so, one version per cookbook. Then finally executing the cookbook with the file command. It is processing. One file is created called MOTD under temp. So let's just go and check it out. So ls temp MOTD. Yeah, file is created. And the content of the file should be some hello world. That's only the expectations I am right now having. So let me just check it out. Cat last name TD. The content is also fine. Chef -client. So did we download this cookbook and all? No, not really. We just return a recipe and test it out. And we tested it like this. Now, what will happen if this particular MOTD file is lost? So let me do that. Let me remove this file called MOTD. Then the file is deleted. Okay, now if you do cat, file is not there. But what I'm going to do is chef -client, the same recipe I'm trying to run. So what it will do? It will immediately notice that the so and so file is missing and etc. And then it will create the file and complete the content. Okay, so let me check it out whether the file is now created. Yeah, the file is temp, right? Yeah. Temp file is created. So we have seen the content of the file also. This time what I'll do, I will not read the file, but I will just update the content. And then rewrite the chef client. So it will make sure that what are the things you have written and all this stuff, and then only apply which is deviated. I mean, deviated from the expectations. So that it means so the content of the file is now overwritten. So what chef is doing? Chef not only checks whether the file is there or not. It even also checks the content of the file is matching or not. In case if there is any deviation, no courtesy, it will try to restore the file in case if it is defined in the program. Okay, this is our first recipe. I understood, we got a little bit an idea about this thing. So I'll give you one exercise, just to write, in the local workstation only. So my exercise, I'll take it from here only. So create a directory in the /temp by your name, not manually, again through the recipe attached. So create a folder inside the folder, create a file and add the content. That's it. That's the requirement. So your recipe should create a folder, create a recipe, add the content. So far we have seen only one resource called file. It helps to create a file. Now what is required? Create a directory. Create a directory and create a file inside the directory. This is our requirement. Yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes. See if anyone can do this. The time starts now. Right now, if anyone is started working, maybe you want me to explain the question.
I started doing it.
You're doing?
Yes, Raghu.
Oh, okay.
Directory resource to be used to create the.
Yeah, and the resource name is directory.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, is it done, Rakesh?
Executing it to test. Yes, it's done, Raghu.
Okay, is it working?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, this is the answer. As simple as that, right? Create a directory, use a directory resources, and the remaining thing is same. Create a file, all this stuff. Now let's just spend some time understanding these resources. Where can we get these resources? Because I'm new to Chef, and then how do you learn and all these things? So Chef actually maintains an online Chef resources page where you can search for any resources and then you will get the update. For example, update means metrics. I want to learn about file resource. Just search for it. So where is the file resource? 1 second, file. All infra resources here. A, B, C, D, E, F file resource. So it will tell you that now what is this resource and then syntax for this resource and all the properties through which we can control the component or object of this file resource, etc. Everything can be seen here. And then some example. And I want to know more about the directory resources. So I'd like to know about directory resource. Search for it. You'll get the directory resources. So using directory resources, what we can do? We can create some directory, etc. I think this is directory resources, right? So all of the properties available in file may be used in directory resources. So let's look a few more examples. This time, I would like to install a service package called HTTPD. And then that's it. Like, yeah, this is my requirement recipe or all this stuff. So now, can I write that? Yes, let me try that. This is package.org. So I'm just installing a package, nothing else. Right now, I'm everything doing in local machine only. Yeah, -client -z package. So what it will do, it will try to install the package. Resource update in 0 seconds. That's, yeah, package installation is already available and up to date. So my question is, what if the package is already there? It will overwrite or it will skip. Yeah, that's it. So in this case, because it's already there, it actually install. Now, my requirement is now a little changed. So package is installed, but my recipe should even start the recipe, the package also. This time, for the first time, let's use another resource called service. Service HTTPD action tab. So what is action? Action is an attribute of service or a property. Using that, I'm starting the service. Okay, so everything we are now doing at the local machine needs service. No? Now check it out whether the package is installed or not. Yeah, it is installed and up and running. So you also should get the welcome page. The package is installed and the process is running. Now take a scenario, the package is corrupted and service is stopped something. Service HTTPD stop. Then delete, then end users will get what? The treatment. The site cannot be reached. Now, how do you address this issue? So do we need to again start the process? Not required. Because we really don't know what are the different problems it undergone. So it's simply what we do. We will run this recipe. It will check what are all the things which are deviated from the expectations from this particular recipe. And then, yeah, it is only identified that the service was not started. That's it. Otherwise, installation, everything is fine. So it went and started the so and so HTTP services. Any questions on this? Okay. So we have seen so far directory, file, package, okay, service, action. Now you can also use enable and start, so many things. Now this time, I also would like to deploy my own home page, but everything it has to be atomized. So I mean, through recipe it has to be done. Now in that case, recipes will not work because deploying templates and all these things, generally we will develop some this thing and then do the deployment. So I'm in chef repo. I'm done with my recipe practice. Let's go to cookbooks. Do we have any cookbooks? I think one cookbook, lightweight and all this stuff it is available. Let me create my own cookbook. So chef generate my first CV. Let's check it out. And under the cookbooks is the cookbook created. My first CV is created. So inside that, what are the things it is there? I really don't know. So inside this, my first CV, let me just see what is there. So inside this cookbook, you have this multiple files and folders. One folder is recipes. Now, what is my requirement? My requirement is that it has to be like, and understand this cookbooks and all, and it has to be like this thing. It's an empty cookbook for now. So I'm going to write the same thing, package DPD. Okay, service start the process. But inside the welcome page, this is what actually I would like to have. So what is this the resources we have used? We use a resource called package, service, and then file. In this case, file index.html. This is what actually I'm creating here. So container the file should be hello world and do the deployment. That's it. I created a recipe, come out of this. And this is my cookbook. It's taking more time, whatever. Yeah. So outside the cookbooks folder, there is a folder called my first CVs, even the name of cookbook. So where should we upload this thing? We should upload this cookbook to the chef server. And client will negotiate and download the cookbooks from the chef server. Any questions on that? So from workstation, we have to upload this to the cookbook. But what I do before I upload this thing, but I just want to see if the thing is in place or not. So I'm just using cook style. So it says that no, yeah, there was no major issues, but these are all some appendices in case you want to improvise, you want to add some description, then this will be a fruitful discussion. That's the meaning of this. So right now, yeah, there is no major issues. So let me upload this to the Chef server. So let me go to the Chef server. Under policy section, I don't have any cookbook. What is my requirement? Upload a cookbook here, apply that to the node. So let me upload that. Knife. By the way, what's the cookbook name? So go to Cookbooks. Just click outside. So I created a cookbook named right? My First Cookbooks. Yeah. So upload this to the Chef server. Knife. Upload my first cookbook. So it is uploaded to the cookbook, first cookbook. Refresh this thing. It is just uploaded, but just check the content. Is everything is fine? This is what actually we are referring. Yes, this is what it is. We are referring. So how do you apply this to the node? Go to the node section. Oops. Yeah. Select the node, edit the run list, drag and drop. Yes. So when the client runs at the next stage, of course, we did not configure anything to run automatically. Here I'm running manually on the node because I applied this to the node, right? It will do what? It will synchronize the cookbooks by downloading a copy to the local machine and execute this cookbook as per the need. So then everything is fine. Let's check it out at the IP address. Okay, maybe the ports issue, just check it out. So I just want to see whether the package is installed properly running. Yes. And then when HTML. Yeah, this is also correct. So just checking if the ports are open or not. That I just uploaded. Yeah. So my web server is ready and the welcome page and template is also deployed. Any questions from anyone on this cookbook part? Uploading cookbook, creating a sample cookbook. See, we are doing very extremely simple exercises to start with to get an idea. As we progress, we will try to go to the next level.
Raghu, can you please explain why we are pushing first in the chef server and then pulling from the node? So,
So this is my agent. This is my agent. This is my workstation. No? Why do we use workstation? This is our development platform. I mean, as a developer, as a DevOps engineer, we will be testing and all uploading it to this server. So from here, workstation will upload it to the server. Now from here, I mean, as a client, I mean, right now we only have one client. But now my client only can access this particular stuff.
okay.
Okay, the body member stuff like, I mean, my client, like, you know, when you upload, you know, when it runs, it will only go and check whether the cookbook is there or not. But before that, it also just verify what are the entries I have. The entries in the sense, what are the nodes bootstrapped? And I'll also ask, like, you know, please type it in what kind of so and so, etc. and everything. That's a different story. Now coming back to our discussion. So here I'll try to edit the run list and I'll say that, no, see, this was available with me. Okay, I will donate to you. Donate means I'll give you a copy. You can go and enjoy. So this is yeah. Background.
And agent is pulling from here. That is why it is called as pull mechanism.
Yes, agent is pulling the cookbook. That's the reason at regular interval we call it as.
Okay.
So even if something goes wrong with the server, I don't need to worry about it. I'll simply log in and then I'll run chef client. It will just check everything is place or not. But it only will check again for subject to correction. It only will check what you want to check. That's it. Not all.
So where we can write that script, like what we need to pull.
This cookbook is uploaded to chef server. And you just simply apply, drag and drop. That's it.
Okay.
So agent is doing what? Agent actually at the right, if you look at the agent side, when it runs chef client, right? Basically, it will download that cookbooks into this folder. See, the entire folder is there. Local temporary location, by the way. Yeah, any questions from anyone? No questions? So this time what we'll do, I don't want to template, you know, which we manually use. I don't want to use that. I would like to get a new so and so template. Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm saying that at the template right now, if you go to this cookbook, my first cookbook, the template, you know, which we use, we did not use any template actually. What we did, we typed everything under this RB recipe under package installation, service, and then file installation, etc. But what is my requirement? Here it is okay. It is just a simple 4 lines, 5 lines file. But in real time, this will be a very big, what do you call, you know, template and file kind of this thing, index.html. Now, how do we do that? So there is a mechanism called template available in the cookbook options. So you can use a template to create a sample ERP file and add the content. So let's try that option. I'm inside the cookbook. So I don't see any folder called templates here. So let me create that. Chef generate template. This time, yeah, whatever, like let it be index.html. Just see what happened. Now inside the cookbook, we got an additional folder called templates. What is there inside templates? So if I go to templates, you will see one index.html RB file because I created index.html. It is again empty. So we will try to fill it up with something. Some content. Base. Next page content. So this content, HTML content. So go to templates and ERB file. We call this ERB files. Here I'm trying to add. So hello world. So what is the difference here? Earlier we were using everything in recipe, which is not an effective way. This time we will try to use the templates way. So check it out. So I don't need this now. Now what I need a template resources. I need a template resource. So this is how I will follow. I'll explain you this resource. Template is a resource. It says that, hey, in your cookbook, there is a file called index.html ERB. Please copy paste under index.html. That's it. The source here, this thing. But is the file name correct? So let's just go to the templates. Index.html ERB, correct. The file name is correct. We did not even tested it, but we simply uploaded the put to the server. I mean, we will not upload, but we will try to upload. Is it the same cookbook name? Yes. For now, it is same cookbook name, but yeah, real time will not be like that. So I'm not actually doing this thing. I'm trying to update now. I'm not uploading here. Now go to the client. So it is now just run it. That's it. So yeah, just everything was in place. It's only the update content was not there. That was updated. That's it. You're all good. It's already updated. Same step, but it is through index.html. So I'll give you one exercise. Probably I'll give you the same exercise. So please create a cookbook which will install HTTPD and set up the home page. That's it. Of course, you have to start the process. So I'll give you the commands for your reference. Where do we started? Okay, we started. Yeah, I think from here we started. Anyway, I'll give you all the commands. You can just make a note also. And pick the last commands. Yeah. So any questions on the exercise? What we have to do now? The exercise is very straightforward. Create a cookbook to install HTTPD. Yeah. Along with a template. Yeah. Let me see how many of you have understood this thing, and we'll try now. I'll give you 5 minutes. Maybe 1-2 minutes over. Select 3-4 minutes. So you're all still with me, right?
Yes, Raghu.
Okay. Only 2-3 responses only every time.
Raghu, in the recipe, while giving the template path, So where should we consider the path? Right from the home user?
You want to create the template, right?
Yeah, yeah. The template, we give the template source file path, right?
You don't need to do that. Like for example, if you look at the 159 command,
Hmm.
no, not here, right? 1 second. Where is that? Yeah, sorry. 190 command. So I'm inside the cookbook. I simply said chef generate template file. So
We
you
create
don't need to.
templates folder.
Yeah, it will automatically create a folder. Inside that, the ERB file will be created.
Yeah, it will be there. Now, in the recipe book that we modified, right? Default.rb. In
Oh,
that
okay.
we specified the source path.
Got it. Yeah. So there you don't need to specify any path again.
Okay.
So you simply have to say source. So now this is your file. Now cat recipes default.rb.
Oh, okay. So it will take the path to templates by default. Okay.
Correct. Because within the cookbook only the templates folder was all there, right? From there it automatically picks.
Okay.
So is chef being used in your environment? Is it okay? No one using. Right. So if you're in DevOps, like what is the configuration management tool which you are familiar with and you are using in your environment? Is it Ansible or Puppet or Chef? Anyone are using it.
Chef Raghu. Chef.
Oh, is it Chef? Okay. Because I'm seeing that not everyone practicing, so thought like maybe it is not the one which you are using.
The knife upload we have to do from the chef repo folder, right?
Yeah, you have to be out of this cookbook folder.
Okay.
So I mean, not here, this way.
So from cookbooks we need to do.
Yeah, you have to be inside the cookbook folder where the knife can refer the cookbook.
Okay.
So these are all some extremely simple exercises just to get some hands on to you. Don't think that no in real time the cookbooks will be this much simple. So now the advantage is even let's say in the client side, if somebody removes package, everything is gone, right? And the mode is corrupted. service is down, template gone, everything is done. But if somebody complaining that no application is down, server is crashed, nothing to worry. Simply comment. That's it. So because everything is in place, cookbook and everything, so it will just check it out, which one is missing, and then only those components it will fix. And your node is back in state in less than few seconds. As a consumer, it's like fascinating.
So after we knife upload, it will be available on Node, right? Under var cache, var shift cache.
No, it will be available in the dev server. Yeah, you go to policy section, it will be available.
Okay.
Once it is uploaded, again you have to go to the node section, select the node, edit the run list, drag and drop. You can do also through CLI, that we'll talk about later.
Okay. So I can see it on policy.
Yeah. So that means that once you uploaded the cookbook, that doesn't mean that they are available for those nodes.
Yep.
So it has to be inside the run list.
Okay. So Raghu, keeping these cookbooks under run list, it will be executing on the nodes.
So what do you mean by that?
So do we need to trigger it after we keep it under run list, or?
Yeah. Right now, because you're not automated. I mean, you're not set up any cron job, no? You have to manually run chef client.
Yes, Raghu, it's running.
Anyone else try? Okay, probably I will not, go with any new topics today, but yeah. So any questions, if anyone understanding the flow and understanding the concepts, feel free to ask questions.
Raghu, this is the pull mechanism, right? Basically, we register this with chef management console, and then like we are manually running the chef client on Node. So that's where we are pulling the
Correct.
cookbooks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'll give you one exercise for tomorrow. Let me see how many you can write that. Create a cookbook, install HTTP, Tomcat with proxy pass. This is your exercise. So I'll give you a clue. See, this is, installation of HTTPD, installation of Tomcat you can do. Yeah, now what is proxy pass? Reverse proxy. Do you remember the reverse proxy setting the other day we have learned last week?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, Raghu.
Yeah. So when I run this cookbook, everything it has to configure and sample applications also. I mean, otherwise, proxy pass not makes any sense, Audio install sample application sample. You can use this app name, Tomcat web apps. So it has to be installed. All these packages and both HTTP and Tomcat has to be up and running. But before that, you also need to deploy proxy pass, reverse proxy, where inside this folder. I don't know whether you remember that path or not, but just for the sake clarity, I will give you. You can get there. This is what I said I need. So I just made this settings. Inside that file. Right. So once you've done this with exercise, the second exercise I would like to install JDK. I think by default 7 is there. I think. You can just check it out. It is not there. Okay. So it has to install JDK 8, 7, and 8 separately. And 8. Not JDK, basically JRE. You take a call now, whatever. And you could install JDK 7 and 8. And install 2 Tomcat instances. Both should run 2 different ports. 2 instances, and this is, I know, a little complicated, but give a shot. Both should run on 2 different ports. So these 2 exercises you need to do. So I'll give you this in the meeting chat also. And later we'll share through Drive also. So is that clear? Any questions on these exercises? No questions, right? So tomorrow, like, what we do, we will see how many of you will complete these exercises. Yeah. And then we'll go to the Windows bootstrapping. And then I also introduce some moderate to complex topics in Chef. Okay, yeah. So that's all from my end.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Oh.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.